Well, thank you for staying with us. The Depressed Black Gay Man, also known as DBGM Inc., is an organization that's dedicated to raising awareness on mental health issues and depression concerning LGBTQ people of color. They're holding a discussion forum on focusing on how immigration impacts LGBTQ people of color. And here now to tell us more about the event is the president and CEO of DBGM Inc., Antoine Craigwell, co-director and coordinator of community organizing at the Queer Detainee Empowerment Project, Uche Anwa, and organizer of QDEP, Aniri Zapata. And we welcome you all to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Y'all had me working with a whole lot of letters there, but we made it though. Good to have you guys.
Good to have you. Good to be here.
Good. So tell us a little bit, Antoine, about, you've got a forum coming up.
Yes.
And it's really going to discuss some really key issues.
Yes.
And so when it deals with the issues of color, LGBTQ community, and mental illness.
Let's start by looking at the 2019 Trevor Project report that said that while 4 times more white LGBT attempt suicide, twice more people of color LGBT attempt suicide than their white counterparts. And what we want to focus on is looking at mental health as it affects LGBT people of color. So this is part of a series of events that we're doing throughout the city. And we're starting in the Bronx, the first one, looking at immigration. How is immigration affecting LGBTQ people of color mental health? When we stop to consider that there are significant numbers of LGBT people of color in detention centers in Elizabeth and up in Hudson Valley, when we stop to consider there are many transgender people of color who died in custody or who died in detention, and so when we also look at the number of LGBT people of color who are coming to the United States as refugees or to escape persecution in their own home countries because of their sexual orientation and gender identity. And when they come here, they're expecting a certain kind of response, they're expecting a certain kind of acceptance, and they're finding the opposite. So how is it that this affects their mental health?
How does this affect you?
So this is a great topic, and with the work that I do as a co-director of Queer Detainee Empowerment Project, I have seen a lot of effect on mental health of LGBTQ immigrants that are fleeing persecution. So many of them are being held by ICE when they're coming into this country, and they're being put in solitary confinement for months or years, as case may be. We had a client from Honduras, a trans woman from Honduras, who was in solitary confinement for almost 2 years, and she had several suicidal attempts. I myself also is someone that flee my home country, Nigeria, because of the persecution I faced. Regards to my sexuality and the work I did as an activist back home, I had a lot of high hopes, just like Antoine said, when I was coming to this country, but I met the opposite. Like, I was held by ICE, and I spent months in detention. While I was there several times, I thought about committing suicide. I thought about, signing my deportation. My mental state was destabilized. But with the support of LGBTQ organizations, like the one I work with right now, I was able to get out. And not just getting out, but my mental health also wasn't even stable because I didn't have all the necessary things that I need to survive as an immigrant who don't have family ties or friends in the U.S. So, we have to constantly struggle to be able to fit in the society.
Yeah. And let me bring Neri in. What kind of conversations are we not having that we should be having concerning this?
The fact is that being black colors, I would put it in a different situation of the whole society. As a black person of colors, being a migrant, being with a sexual orientation difference, being all at the same time that can have you in a depression or you can know how to handle it with the society. When you get to the country and you have the basic stamp for starting a life, and that is the thing that I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Antoine, before we go, tell people about what they can expect if they attend this forum.
Well, what we're going to have is a panel of professionals. So there's going to be an immigration attorney who's also a member of the LGBT people of color community, Tisan Gourmou from Baji, and she's a director of QDEP. There is Steve Welch, who's a mental health professional. He's actually has an office or a location here in the Bronx. And there's Uche, and there's Orlando Ferrand, who is Cuban, who's come to this country from Cuba many years ago. And the panel is going to be moderated by a Dominican, Alicia Annabel Santos, and she is a spiritualist, and she's a priestess in one of the African religious traditions. But what we are actually doing is we are talking about the issues that are coming together, and it's sponsored by New York City Office of Immigrant Affairs, New York City Human Rights Commission, Thrive NYC, and most importantly by Hostos College.
All right. Well, I got to leave it there, but thank you guys for coming and sharing. I'm giving some more information on how to get connected, and best wishes with the forum.
Thank you very much for having us.
Oh, good to have you. All righty. Well, I'll tell you, the Immigration and My Mental Health Discussion Forum is taking place Monday, February 24th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Hostos Community College, located at 120 East 149th Street in the D Building, multi-purpose room on the second floor. Now, if you want to find out more information about DBGM and their upcoming events, check out their website at dbgm.org and Facebook at DBGM Inc. Don't go anywhere, because we got more show. When we come back, we're going to learn about the New Hampshire primary. Stay tuned. We're coming up in a few.